Hi, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another session of Easy Dharma for Difficult Times. I'm your pastor for tonight, Pastor David here at your service. And I will be sharing today about Dorje Shugden for difficult times. So, as usual, I will go through to see who is on. Let me see. I'm refreshing my page. So anyway, I think a lot of you guys are pretty familiar with Dorje Shugden anyway. So if you have any questions, you don't have to wait till when I reach the subject matter. All right, you can always ask. I will attempt to answer you to the best of my abilities. I may not know everything, okay? Hello, good evening, Mr. Lam. Nice to see you. Pastor Neral, Pastor Shin, Elsie, good evening to you. David Chu, Ken, Teacher Ken, Iman and Miaoki, and some other people which I cannot see who is on right now, but I know you are on. Welcome, Pastor Honey. I see your face there, the little icon there. Thank you, very nice. Yi Ming, hello. So today we'll be talking about Dorje Shugden. Okay. Before I go in, what I need to do right now is give you a little quick background. Today will be a quick session. I need to go by 9:45. I'm so sorry, but if you have any questions, ask me because you guys are pretty smart and Okay, LC, why is he holding enemy's heart that I don't understand? Okay, good point. I'll get to that. That's in the iconography because actually, basically, I'll be talking much about his iconography. Thank you very much. I'll get to that soon. All right, and let's start. Okay, about so far I've spoken about Manjushri, I've spoken about Lama Tsongkhapa, I've spoken about Vajrayogini. These are idams. Okay, these are deities, meditational Buddha figures that you meditate on the mantra and on their figure, and their practice is called a sadhana. All right. So their practices are meant to gain attainments. While Dorje Shugden is a Dharma protector and kind of like a guardian angel. And in the Buddhist tradition, we have protectors, Dharma protectors, and yidams. So Dharma protectors, their role and function is to assist us by overcoming our obstacles, create favorable conditions for us to practice the Dharma. So Dharma protector. So Dorje Shugden's role is for that. But that does not mean Dorje Shugden is any lower or higher than another Buddha. All Buddhas are equal because they've gained complete enlightenment and in terms of wisdom and compassion, in terms of attainment. So there's no higher or lower. It's just from our side, there's difference because how we propitiate, what we request out of these deities. So when we request out of these deities, these requests, prayers, mantras, all that were composed by higher lamas, attained beings of our tradition, and so they're written in a specific purpose that I just mentioned. All right. Okay. That one at least you guys understand, so it's very good. Okay, let's see. We have the origin of Dorje Shugden's practice, very simple. Dorje Shugden had many lifetimes, and so what happened is after to cut the long story short, I won't be able to go through all the lifetimes and the particular important ones, but the most important is that when Dorje Shugden arose, somewhere in should be the 16th century. All right. So what happens is when he arose, what happened was he arose as a Dharma protector, and when he arose as a Dharma protector, he manifested first within the Sakya school, because one of his early incarnations was Sakya lamas like Sakya Pandita, Sachen Losao Gyatso, and so forth. So what happened is, as because of his connection with the Sakya school, so he arose within the Sakya tradition, and it was enthroned as a Dharma protector. So most of the earlier writings about Dorje Shugden arose within the Sakya school. Then within our tradition, one of the earlier prayers and pujas, the Kangso, which means, what is the Kangso? Kangso is a puja text. And it is actually literally translated as fulfillment. Okay? So a fulfillment text was written by Serkong Dorje Chang, the earlier one. Then later on, that tradition, what happened was Pabongka Rinpoche was requested by Dorje Shugden through an oracle to compose one. So when he was composing, he decided to request one of his teachers for the lineage directly from Dorje Shugden, because one of his teachers, Tapu Dorje Chang, okay, or Tapu Pema Vajra, who had ability to astral travel, okay, through meditation, he was able to astral travel to Ganden Heaven, to Shita, to request directly from the Lama himself, which is Duzin Drapa Gyaltsen, which is the previous life of Dorje Shugden that made the promise to be Dorje Shugden. So apparently when he made the request, there was an exchange between him and Lama Tsongkhapa in the form of lights. There was a divine conversation, I would call it. So in the story, apparently there was lights emitting from Dozin Drapa Gyaltsen to Lama Tsongkhapa. And finally, Lama Tsongkhapa agreed to reveal the teachings by lifting the cloth from under his throne. And from under his throne, Dorje Shugden emerged, okay, and gave the lineage directly to Tapu Pema Vajra or Tapu Dorje Chang, which was transmitted down to Pabongka Rinpoche and down to us. So that's our lineage. So our lineage of Dorje Shugden has some sort of a divine origins in that sense. All right. So so that is our lineage of Dorje Shugden that we have practiced today. So the lineage was transmitted to Pabongka Rinpoche, and he completed his fulfillment text, and it was transmitted. And what we do now, today, for example, the text that Pabongka Rinpoche composed was not totally his own. He actually took it from many sources. And the major source that he took from was from the Sakya school. All right? So, and what happened was that text is used now for all Dorje Shugden practitioners, all Dorje Shugden High Lamas who engage in their monthly pujas or whatever pujas they do on a regular basis to propitiate, to request for Dorje Shugden's assistance, to request his guidance, to request his protection especially. All right? So Dorje Shugden is a very important part of our tradition, so it will be very important for all of us to know the basis of the origins of his practice. Okay, for you guys, especially if for you guys who is Kecharians, because it is one of Sam Rinpoche, our teacher, our Lama of Kechara. It is his main practice and is the reason for our whole organization, the backbone of our lineage, our tradition. Okay, so it's very important that we know this. So Dorje Shugden was, that's the origin of Dorje Shugden's practice, and that's descended down from there. Okay? Okay, at least you know that. Any questions about that? Let me know. By the way, Dorje Shugden's practice arose in the Sakya school. There were evidence of it arising within the Kagyu, the Nyingma as well. There are certain sections of the text that was composed by certain lamas that have a Kagyu tradition. We have written in the blog, for example, Shabdrung Ngao Namgyal, who is a Drupa Kagyu, if I remember correctly. Also from the Nyingmas, also they have their text that was written. So there is traditions, there's remnants of Dorje Shugden within the other traditions. Not much is can be found, but there is tankas, there is certain prayers written by certain high lamas of their tradition, which is interesting actually. Because people think that Dorje Shugden is against Nyingma. Some people do think So, but there are evidence of old ancient tankas of Guru Rinpoche and Dorje Shugden together. So it kind of disproved that, you know, that rumor. Okay, so let's go into the iconography because someone have already asked a question. Okay, Elsie, you have an interesting question. People in Singapore are not pro Dorje Shugden. Should I tell them that I do the practices? What's the purpose of you? You don't have, because you're alone there, and I would not recommend you telling people of Dorje Shugden's practice or your practice. By tradition, protected practices are not supposed to be, you don't go out telling people unless they need it or unless they request it. So I'm not sure of your level of understanding and learning to able to explain to people, especially about the controversy and all that. So I would advise you not to, unless necessary. What's a necessary? What is an occasion that's necessary? When people need help. When people need help, like spirit problem, Dorje Shugden is very powerful with spirit problems. These are the few things that I noticed about Dorje Shugden. Spirit problems, very effective. For legal cases, for people who need a job, also I notice for some reason I have people asking me about that. Even people from Singapore actually, they ask me all the way, and then they will get a job after they do Dorje Shugden's practice, and all sorts of monetary business problems. Also, he's very effective. So if they need the practice, then you can explain to them. If people come and ask you a question, you can explain. Otherwise, not necessary to reveal and to tell everybody, because maybe it's up to you. But this is what I feel, that it'll make it easier for you to talk about it, and to a level that you understand. All right. I just lose my job. Do Dorje Shugden's practice. Do a Dorje Shugden retreat. Trust me, he's really good. I know the situation now with the COVID virus is quite dire. It's dangerous. I mean, it's everything looks quite bad and bleak right now, but Dorje Shugden is amazing. Okay. All right. Anyway, let's get back to the iconography. So Dorje Shugden he's actually not that difficult iconographically. He is in the form of a lama, meaning he wears monk robes, 3 sets of monk robes actually. Okay, so what happened is he wears the monk robes, and he wears a round hat. Okay, he holds the round hat. The shape of the hat, the round hat, is the shape of a hat that is worn by high lamas, because high lamas travel a lot. They have a responsibility for upholding the lineage. They have the responsibility of spreading teachings, giving initiations, meeting people. So they have to travel quite a bit. That's part of their responsibility, and giving initiations and all that. So what happened is they have to travel. So it is one of the ceremonial robes, or rather ceremonial accoutrements, something they have to wear when they travel. So that round hat, that's why you will see some high lamas. For example, you will see Karmapa, you will see pension lama sometimes. The old picture when they're young, they'll be wearing the round hat. And I've even seen Trijang Rinpoche with the round hat. So it's not because Trijang Rinpoche is pretending to be Dorje Shugden. It's actually a traditional hat worn by high lamas when they travel. So that's symbolic of a few things. The round hat is symbolic of that Dorje Shugden will travel far and wide, no matter where you are, no matter how difficult the situation, he will make things move for you. All right? He will come to your assistance. Then the other thing, which is the other meaning of it, is more important, is actually it represents emptiness. And what sort of emptiness? It is actually a doctrine of the Buddha on the nature of reality. And this doctrine of the Buddha, this teachings of the Buddha, this higher teachings on wisdom of the Buddha, it's so profound that there are many lineages of it. And the one that Dorje Shugden is upholding, that's protecting, is Lama Tsongkhapa's lineage. Lama Tsongkhapa's view of emptiness. Okay, that's what is said in the text. So what it means is that he's protecting Gelug lineage. So does that mean that he will not protect you if you're not Gelug? Does it mean that? No. Dorje Shugden is an emanation Manjushri. He is a fully enlightened being. He has full wisdom and great compassion. Okay, so when he has that means that he's unbiased. So whether you are a Gelug practitioner, whether you identify as a Gelug practitioner or not, whether you pray to Lama Tsongkhapa or read the Lamrim or not, as long as you seek Dorje Shugden's help, he will come to your assistance. That's for sure. That's what Rinpoche said, and that's what we are told, and this is what we have noticed, and so we spread it out to people who need it. All right? So you do not need to be, no, you don't even need to be a Buddhist to practice Dorje Shugden. That is all symbolized by the hat, meaning he upholds Lama Tsongkhapa's tradition. So he's a special protector of Lama Tsongkhapa's tradition. It's just that he has a particular commitment and affinity. If you are a Gelug practitioner, he has a stronger affinity to protect you because you uphold the teachings that he's supposed to protect. All right? So even if you are not, he will still protect you, he will still bless you, he will still overcome your obstacles and create favorable conditions for you when you request his assistance. All right? Either way, it makes no difference. Okay, everybody must understand that. That is Dorje Shugden's. When a particular Dharma protector is protecting a specific teachings, and if they are an emanation of an enlightened being, that doesn't mean his only can be practiced by that particular lineage. For example, Dorje Shugden is not a protector of the Gelug lineage exclusively. No. He is a protector of all tradition, all religions, as long as you seek his help. It's not that Dorje Shugden can, don't go and help others, or you need to help to ask his assistance. It's that whether you're a Gelug practitioner or not, all of us have negative karma. All of us have obscurations, karmic obscurations, all right? So what happens is, it's not that Dorje Shugden cannot help you. You need to create the cause. So you need to do his practice to tap into his energy, his protective energy, all right? So you need to do the practice. So all enlightened beings want to bless us, want to help us purify our karma, but we need to do the work. We need to access their blessings. They are ever ready. When you have full compassion, they're ever ready to help you. But your obscurations in karma prevents them. Prevents Dorje Shugden, prevents all the enlightened beings to help you. So you need to purify some karma. So even sadhanas, to access the blessings of Lama Tsongkhapa, Manjushri, Vajrayogini, you need to do the sadhana, you need to do purification to gain attainments. And same thing as Dharma protector, in order to gain his protection, in order to gain his blessings, to create good conditions for us, we need to do the practice. So part of Dorje Shugden's practice involves purification. All right. Okay, I have some comments here. Malcolm Bruce, hello, welcome. Oh my goodness, he keeps staying on my mind for the last 8 months, and now I can't come across your video. Very good, you have some sort of affinity with Dorje Shugden. Affinity is not a magic word. It does not mean some magical connection. It just means that you perhaps have some kind of a need from a connection. Sometimes you've met Dorje Shugden, perhaps not in this life, perhaps earlier in this life, perhaps, I do not know whether you believe in previous lives or future lives, or even karma, but whether you believe it or not, there is some kind of affinity with different people, with different situations, with different religious beliefs. So perhaps you have some sort of connection with Dorje Shugden. So that's why you met Dorje Shugden again. So what does it mean when you have affinity with a particular deity in the Buddhist tradition? What does that mean? Is that when you do the practice, it will be extremely beneficial for you because you have a strong connection. So when you tap into this connection, especially if it's from a previous life, right? A lot of things will open up for you. Doors will open up for you. Change will come to you. Positive change, good change. Sometimes a little bit of obstacles, a little bit of problems will arise. It's natural because all of us have negative karma. But persist through it, learn the Dharma, find out more about Dorje Shugden, and he will be able to help you in your life. He will be able to open a lot of things, positive change for you. All right? All right, anyway, let's get back to Dorje's form. Okay, so he has 3 sets of ropes representing morality, representing holding of vows, representing, in our practice, he urges us to keep our promises, keep our commitments. When we do that, he's able to come faster, quicker, and more effectively to assist us, to protect us. All right, that's symbolized by Dorje's ropes. And then he carries the sword. And let's start with one first. The sword, which is meandering, it's a wisdom sword, but it's a specific sword of Dorje, which is meandering. So when it meanders, when it's curved like that, it means it does more harm. The weapon itself, the shape of it is meant to do more harm, but not to us. All the weapons carried by enlightened beings are not meant to harm or hurt people. It's actually meant to harm and hurt our obstacles, our negative emotions, our destructive emotions within us. So specifically, Dorje's wisdom sword is meant to purify negative karma so that he's able to come to our aid. All right? And then he holds the heart of the enemy. There's one translation. Some say it's a heart jewel. Some translations say it's a heart jewel. Some say it's the heart of the enemy. Okay, the heart jewel or the enemy symbolize the same thing, which is a heart, a human heart. And what happens is, this is the symbolism of it, okay? At the heart of Dorje's practice, he uproots all causes for ignorance. Okay, ignorance is the basis of all our negative karma, negative emotions, delusions, obscurations. Anybody, when you pull out the heart, the person will not live. So Dorje is not holding anybody's heart. He's not pulling people's hearts out. What he's doing is the heart of all your problems he rips it out, and he holds it in the center. His promise, that is his promise to you as a practitioner. If you don't devote yourself to him, he will uproot the cause of your problems. So that's what it means. The cause, the heart of all your problems. So he rips it out. So when the heart is ripped out, all your problems will eventually die. Okay, so you're not killing, Dorje is not out to kill anybody or to harm anybody in that way, in that sense. It is actually symbolic of meaning to, he will rip out the root cause of all our problems. So that's the symbolism. You got that? Elsie, you asked the question earlier. That's what it means. All right. So, and the crook of his arm, the crook means on his left arm, the one holding the heart, right? There is a Vajra hook. Okay. So it is not, I know in tankas and pictures, it does look like an axe. Actually, it's not an axe. It is stylized, so it looks a bit like an axe, but it's not. It's actually a hook, a Vajra hook. A Vajra hook is in Indian iconography, okay, this is what it is. It's what mahouts, which is elephant tamers, they used to hook onto. It's a bit cruel, but that's what they do in ancient times to tame wild elephants. So they hook onto wild elephants, which hurts them a bit, and to tame them. Okay, is to tame elephants. So in this sense, it's meant to pacify our negative, our obstacles, our problems. At the same time, it's to hook in all the favorable conditions for us. Okay, to bring in all the favorable conditions for us and to pacify our negative obstacles. Okay, and then, and this part is everybody's favorite. All right, it's the mongoose. Okay, the mongoose rests on his arm as well, and that means mongoose is a good luck symbol apparently in iconography, in Indian iconography. It represents wealth, the generation of wealth. So especially in Buddhist iconography, which is derived from the Indian tradition. The mongoose represents Dorje's wealth bestowing abilities. So when you do Dorje practice, he will help with your livelihood. He will help with your careers. He will help with your businesses. He will assist, especially if you practice the Dharma. Remember the root cause, not the root cause, the ultimate aim of Dorje Shugden. Then you're able to know how to tap into his ability to grant wealth to you. The purpose of Dorje is to protect your Dharma. So you need to do some Dharma practice. You need to learn the Dharma. You need to do some practice. So when you do that, and so it gives Dorje the ability to help you. Your practice becomes a doorway for him to come to assist you. All right? So you need to do some learning of the Dharma. You need to do some practice. So does that mean that when you are not a Buddhist, when you're not a Gelug practitioner, you cannot get Dorje's practice? No, it doesn't mean that. You can do practice through Dorje, because who is Dorje? Manjushri. So when you request assistance, when you make offerings, when you do Dorje's mantra, right? You're already starting your first. Whether you want to call it Buddhist practice or not, it does not matter. You're tapping into Dorje's blessings. All right. So if you do not want to identify yourself with Buddhist, when you do Dorje practice, it's fine. It's fine. It's okay. Because I'm getting a lot of people that may not be into just Buddhists. Okay, Elsie put a lot of dollar signs, very cute. So yes, but ultimately Dorje's wealth. You see, the mongoose, what he does is he doesn't just sits on Dorje, he spits out jewels. The colored stones from Dorje's, the mongoose's mouth, they look like fruits. Actually, it's not fruits when you look at tankas, right? Pictures of Dorje, they look like little colored fruits or candy. It's not. It's actually jewels. It's just stylized. So it's jewels. It's a jewel-spitting mongoose. So the jewels represent material wealth, as I mentioned earlier, and also spiritual wealth. So what happens when you do Dorje practice? He has a blessing to open up in us spiritual qualities like renunciation, like generosity, like forgiveness, like compassion, like wisdom, and much more. All right? So he'll open that in you. So Elsie Toy say, so does that mean when we do Dorje DS, we no longer do Satrap? Elsie Toy, if you have been doing Satrap's practice all along, I do not recommend just giving it up, but it's all from Satrap's side, it's fine. It's up to you. It depends on you, because it will be good to focus on one practice, all right, or one down protector. If you have time, you can do both, which is wonderful. This is what we do in Kechara House. In Kechara House in Sunway Mas in PJ, right? We do Dorje combined with Satrap. And when you do Dorje, Rinpoche has always said this: when you do Dorje Shugden, Satrap is always there. All right, because he's part of the mandala. So, okay, another question from Yiman. Pastor David, how exactly does Dorje uproot the cause of our problems? Is it by removing our obstacles, or there is more? Thanks. Yiman, that's a very good question. How does Dorje uproot your problems? Is that when you engage in this practice, you're tapping into the blessings of Manjushri. All right, so you're tapping the blessings of Manjushri. So Dharma practice, all that doesn't come to us directly. You need to combine it with, when you want to gain real attainments, right? You have to combine with learning. You have to combine it with purification, whatever practices that you're doing. For example, before all the time when you do Dorje's practice, we always have to start with Guru Yoga, right? When you look at our diamond path, the one from Kechara, the book for Dorje, it starts with Guru Yoga. So what happens is in order to gain attainments, in order to uproot the cause of our problems, as you say, uproot the cause of our problems, Dorje does that by in a few ways. One of them is he bestows you with blessings, but you need to open the blessings. You need to learn still. Then you uproot your cause, the direct cause of it. And the way Dorje Shugden guides you, I don't know whether you've noticed it if you do Dorje Shugden practice. The way you gain something through his practice is it has a way of, the Dorje Shugden has a way of making things come. Certain things will appear in a certain way, in a certain direction. It's almost like a teaching. And when you gain some things you will gain, some things you will not. And sometimes the obstacles will come. Sometimes for us, the obstacles will be removed. For some people, they have certain, when they remove the bigger obstacles, other types of obstacles come. And that obstacle is not meant to harm or hurt us. Those obstacles are meant for us to grow. If you are advanced, especially if you're in the Dharma for a particular amount of time, Dorje Shugden assists our Dharma practice by allowing some obstacles to come. And you are saying, why would Dorje Shugden do that? Look, it's not that Dorje Shugden is creating the obstacles. You already have the obstacles within you. But some obstacles Dorje Shugden will allow you experience, especially if you are advanced in your practice and he feels that you are ready to receive some obstacles for you to go through it, not obstacles that will be dangerous for you or your practice. It will be obstacles that will help you to grow, to develop, to become a better Dharma practitioner, to develop renunciation, to develop wisdom, to develop compassion. So some obstacles, smaller obstacles will come for you to experience that so that you grow. This is what I personally observed from my practice with Dorje Shugden. So certain obstacles will come, especially later on in our practice. They are not harmful, but they are meant for us to grow. All right? And that is how Dorje Shugden helps us uproot the root cause, because bigger obstacles that is life-threatening, of course, Dorje Shugden will remove them or delay them. And that's what I've noticed and I've heard, that a lot of people who have a lot of negative karma, especially that is harmful to their well-being, he holds them at bay. He holds them at bay. They will not experience it, but it's not dissolved yet. So when he holds the negative karma at bay, of let's say to gain cancer, to gain cancer. So what we do is, as we do Dorje Shugden practice and do our daily Dorje Shugden practice and then monthly practice, and we do our retreats, do our learning, so we slowly purify that karma while Dorje Shugden holds it at bay. For example. Okay, so that's another way Dorje Shugden help us uproot the cause. So when he holds your bigger obstacles at bay, so it gives us time to do practice. And when we do the practice, we slowly purify, because a lot of us have a lot of negative karma, and Dorje Shugden is actually holding it, preventing it from fruitioning. So okay, I have to go on. Mr. Lam, since I practiced Dorje Shugden when Rinpoche opened to all Kecharans, I've noticed that obstacles that come my way, some will become smaller and manageable. Wonderful. It will be impossible for any practitioner or any practice, any religion, all right, to have zero obstacles. Impossible. Let's be realistic here, okay? So don't expect any practice, if you find Dorje Shugden practice doesn't eliminate your obstacles, you go to another religion. There is no religion on earth, no spiritual practice on earth, no black magic, no God, no deity, no spirit that can completely remove all your problems. Okay, because this is samsara, this is the nature of existence. We always have problems, we always have sickness, because this is the nature of our rebirth as a human being. We always have sickness, old age, death. This you cannot purify, completely eliminate. You can take steps to prevent someone like disease. You can live a healthy life. But if you have the karma, even when you're extremely healthy, haven't you heard of the healthiest friend you ever have? And then they are totally a health freak, exercise, diet, very stringent, very strict. And then they will be down with the worst type of cancer, the worst type of disease, and then they might just pop off suddenly. So what does that mean? It means that they have the karma, the negative karma. So it's impossible anyone to have no karma, no obstacles. Well, what Dorje Shugden does is he helps us to manage, because some obstacles and problems that come our way are too huge. We cannot bear it. It harms us, it hurts our loved ones, and it destabilizes us. So Dorje Shugden will hold it at bay so that we can purify the karma and grow along and purify the actual root of the problem. All right? Okay, anyway, that was Mr. Lam. Okay, where was I? I was talking of the hook, the Vajra hook, the mongoose, the wisdom sword, the meandering wisdom sword, the heart, his robes, and what else? He's sitting on. Oh, I spoke about his hat, and then he's sitting on a snow lion, and the snow lion represents fearlessness. The snow lion represents speed, agility, wrath. And Dorje Shugden is, I know there's a peaceful aspect, but generally he is more towards a wrathful aspect. What I mean by that is his expression, his energy. So Dorje Shugden is a wrathful Dharma protector. His main form generally is wrathful, although there are peaceful aspects of him. He can manifest wrath or peace, it does not matter. So, but his main energy is wrath still, all right? And wrath in iconography, in terms of Buddhist deities, is not meant to harm or hurt. He's not trying to take revenge. He's not unhappy because he was assassinated in a previous life. It's not. It's just an energy emanated from him. It means great compassion. It means a tremendous built up. Like when you are extremely concerned about someone. When you are very concerned, you're very worried. You're so worried that you become emotional. And that emotion actually, when you're extremely concerned, the emotion comes out actually is wrath. Okay, that wrath is what is exhibited, is portrayed by Dorje Shugden in his wrathful aspect. So why that extreme compassion? Why that? All Buddhas have a lot of compassion. Okay, don't get me wrong. Not only Dorje Shugden has extreme compassion. All Buddhas have a lot of compassion. It's just the energy. So it's very important in Dorje Shugden's practice to tap into this wrath, because the wrath is meant to. In order to help us. This is what Tem Rinpoche said. In order to help us, he has to fight our negative karma. All of us have negative karma. Don't think you do not have negative karma. Don't think your karma is small because you're enjoying yourself, you have a good life. Actually, if you have a good life and all, you actually have a lot of negative karma still, because you're enjoying yourself, you are taking up all your good karma, and what's remaining is negative. And on top of that, we actually commit a lot of negative karma on a daily basis without even knowing it. I won't go into that because this is explained by Pastor Naral, and I think to a certain extent I did as well. Why on a daily basis we create negative karma, right? So if you have any questions, you can ask, no problem. But we create negative karma all the time. So Dorje Shugden's practice, and that also adds to, reinforces a Dharma protector's importance in our practice, because we need a lot of protection. We need a lot of purification, and Dorje Shugden's practice is to purify a lot of negative karma, and that's exhibited by him by being so wrathful. He carries that, he's fierce, and then he has also emanations, which I will not go into today because we do not have that much time. All right, so let me see what else you have to say. Learning the Dharma and practicing it becomes easier with Dorje Shugden's guidance and blessing. Wonderful, because it's Manjushri. All right. And there is a Chinese one with a bouquet of flowers. Sharon says, yes, this is a response to Mr. Lam. From my experience, Dorje Shugden's circum is very effective and potent, especially when we're faced with obstacles. It's almost 9:45. Yeah, that's right. So, okay, let me see what else I wanted to cover. The body, the special protection that the Dorjens bestows. Okay, the last part of what I wanted to share with you guys is Dorje Shugden. Dorje Shugden is highly recommended for everyone. Whether you are a Gelug practitioner, whether you are Nyingma practitioner, whether you are a Buddhist practitioner of Tibetan Buddhism, or Chinese Mahayana, or Thai Theravadan, Sri Lankan, Zen Buddhism, does not matter. Dorje Shugden's practice is very, very complementary to what you're already doing, because all of us have a lot of tremendous amount of negative karma. And among all the practices in Tibet today, of all the Dharma protectors, Dorje should be the most effective. Why Dorje should be the most effective in general, okay? In general. For all traditions of all backgrounds is because Dorje, of a few reasons. One of them is because he's a relatively young protector. So he's around about 250 years to 300 years old. So in the biggest scope of all these Dharma protectors, which are hundreds to thousands to aeons, some of them are aeons, some are very, very old, some Dharma protectors, all right? So Dorje's manifestation is pretty recent. So because he's fairly recent, he's fairly young, his affinity, connection, whatever you want to call it, is very strong. So his practice will be most effective for our time to overcome all sorts of problems, all sorts of obstacles, modern obstacles. Where it doesn't matter whatever problems we have, he's very effective. All right. And then on top of that, his manifestation is unusual in a sense that he is, although he's an enlightened being, his mind is enlightened, his form is not. His form meaning his body, all right? His body has taken rebirth in this world, but not as a human being, of course, but in the realm of the heavenly gods, the devas, all right? So since he's taken rebirth in this existence, so his connection to us is stronger, because other enlightened beings, for example, like Mahakala, for example, like Kalarupa, their form is not of this world. So their affinity to us is lesser compared to Dorje Shugden. It's not that they are not as fast or quick. But Dorje Shugden's affinity in terms of his form, in terms of his age, makes him closer to us. All right. These are the two reasons, and that's why in the prayers it is said that he has the strength of 1,000 Dharma protectors. I don't know how they quantify it, but it's probably a poetic way of saying he's most powerful, most effective for our times. All right. So I wanted to share that, and yes. LC Toy. Okay, wait. Before that, let me go to a few questions and then we'll finish for the night. Which Dorje practice do you recommend as an instruction for non-Buddhists? This is from Yiling. She's asking which Dorje practice do you recommend as an introduction for non-Buddhists? I recommend that Rinpoche has some prayers composed on his blog that are pretty universal, that you can recite, and then recite his mantra for non-Buddhists, so that they don't have to go into all these formalities of the rituals and the liturgy and all that. You can do that. That would be my recommendation. All right, and have an image. And also Rinpoche has or other organization has various representation of Dorje in very, very unusual and different ways. Like there's New Age, there's fantasy, there's many different interpretation of Dorje's form, his picture, his tanka. So that can be used as part of the practice. All right. And Iman says, what's the difference between a peaceful form and a wrathful form of Dorje in terms of its functions? If you're asking in between the emanations, they have a different meaning, which I will not go in specifically today, because there's an increased one, which is Genze, which is for wealth. There's a peaceful one, riding on an elephant, he's fair. He's for healing. And then there is a wrathful one. There's two wrathful, one semi-wrathful and one full wrath. Okay, one is for extreme dire situations, dangerous situations, and one is for controlling difficult situations and difficult people. Controlling not to harm them or to use them, but controlling as to influence them positively. All right? So they each have a different function. I won't go into so much today because not enough time. And Pastor will be sharing on Genze. This is from LC. Not particularly. I will consider not particularly. Thank you. There is blog posts which you can read actually for that. There is one blog post on Genze specifically, and then there is okay. Okay, so I've come to the end. Thank you very much, everybody. I hope I give you a nice little rundown of Dorje's form and function, his origins of his practice, and also along the way I've answered some of your questions, which is wonderful. And I see some extremely new people joining us, some perhaps just by accident, like the earlier person who spoke to me. And whoever you are, whichever part of the world you come from, I highly recommend getting to know Dorje Shugden because he's highly potent, effective practice for a modern individual. Thank you very much. I will do some prayers to dedicate the merits, all right? Chunju Sencho Rinpoche, Maki Panagyushi, Kebaya Mami Payang, Gonin Go to Pewasho, Tony Tonga Rinpoche, Maki Panagyushi, Kebaya Mami Payang, Gonin Go to Pewasho, Daso Chinis Abagiwadi, Tanandroa Gunlan Kampanda, Jeba Jozo Lozon Drapa, Tamping Porindo Sao She, Sho, Kewa Guntu Yanalamadang, Jemi Joki Palalong Choching, Sadalong Kiyon Jotni, Doji Changi Gopang Yoto Sho, Gewadi Yududa, Lama Sangi Juhuni, Chuachika Malupa, De Salagobasho, Chujabu Songaba, Chosonama Pewala, Gigi Jamaji. Tuni Malu Shangasho, Dada Shengi Dusundan, George Latini, Giawalo Santrapa, Tamparin Vaguji, Nimodella Santale, Nemeko Intelection, Yasanta to Delepel, Controso Jingulo, Controso in Motoso, Controso in Tashisho, Jazun Lama Kusura Dunshi, Namkachini King Bada, Losanta Vidrum in Samsungi, Jumusu Tatuni Gushi, Gandri Rave Koi Shingam, then Penendel Malukion, Cherezek Wantans in Castle, Sharp is City Badu Den Gushi, Hong to Bengo Drumalup, Dede Dalla Saraso, Kodan Temple.